Limited WIP, or the limitation of work in progress, is a pattern which teams quite often don't adopt in the early stages, but which they soon find that they do in fact need. The principle behind limited WIP is to reduce cycle times as far as possible and thereby to increase throughput. Because the fundamental problem is that if you don't limit the amount of work in progress that you have, you can end up with so much work that's currently on your plate that nothing basically gets done, or at least it takes a very, very long time before any value can actually be delivered. So by limiting WIP, by limiting the work in progress that a team has at any one time, you can make sure that the team is focused. It is focused on delivering value as quickly as possible, and you can make sure that the top priorities are addressed first. Limiting WIP is particularly important in Kanban type operations, because there you won't have the buffer, if you like, of having a sprint backlog. Or what you will have is a single backlog of work, and you'll have perhaps potentially many different stakeholders who will be clamoring for their needs to be met, and it can be really tempting to induct as much work into progress as you think you can get away with. You'll end up taking on far too much. You may have a team of maybe 3 or 4 people, and they might, if they give in to unregulated customer demands, they could find that at least notionally they've got 20 things in progress. And of course, there's no hope really of delivering any of those items in a timely manner. It's just a big mess of work that is in theory being done, but which in practice isn't. By limiting WIP, if you've got, say, three people on a team, if you were to restrict that to having 1, 2, or 3 items in progress at any one time, you can make sure that any one of those items is going to be delivered pretty darn quickly. Things aren't just going to sit in stasis, and you're also going to make sure that value is delivered more quickly. That's a really important point about limited WIP. You want to get some value out, any value out, as quickly as possible, because then you can get an early return on investment. The last thing you want to do really is to have your work in progress choked up with so many items that nothing gets out the door at all for ages. So if you limit your WIP, if you limit your work in progress, you can retain better focus, you can make sure that value is delivered more quickly, and you can make sure that you get a better return on investment and that your customers are served more effectively.